Hi there, I'm Linda and this is Huttons Valley Permaculture. I'm out in the veggie garden first thing this morning because we need to do a harvest. I showed this broccoli in the last video, and if we don't grab it now, I think it's just going to go to flower. This side shoot here is a little bit more tightly packed than its neighbour. If you can see, it's sort of starting to open up a little bit, which means it's going to burst into flower before long. So to make sure we don't let that happen, I'm just going to harvest them all now. Now on the plant, I have left this little guy here, but you can see that's maybe where we'll get another shoot coming from. And looking at this lower one, you can see again that little point there has the potential to grow out a little bit more. You can see down the bottom there, I've been careful to leave all of that on. So we'll see if we get any more from this plant. I'll take this one carefully as well. And yeah, that one looks ready to come off too. It's just a little one. And again, we've got future harvest potential just coming down there. We've got this large plant here that I really took too much off, I believe, and maybe reduce the chances that the side shoots were going to develop. They might have been developing up closer to the head, but I'll leave that in and just see what develops. But there's nothing happening yet, and that's been a little while. Now this huge big side shoot, I'll be careful just to chop it as high up as I can. And look at that. That's as big as the original head that came off that plant. Now this is that same plant, and you can see I really did a big chop when I first took the head. So again, you can't sort of see any shoots coming here. Not too sure we'll get any more from this plant, but again, I've got plenty of space, so I'll just leave them in a little bit longer. Although you can see the leaves are starting to deteriorate a bit, which mightn't help. This plant has a couple of side shoots that are just starting to develop, which leaves us with this plant here. You can really see those little flowers starting to open up, so we'll grab that off. Now that's quite a bit of broccoli I've just harvested. I do already have some in the freezer, as I said the other day, so I might just chop up some of this for a stir fry, and some might even go for a broccoli soup. I do a kind of a Thai style coconut cream veggie soup in which I add any vegetable really, so we'll make it a broccoli flavoured soup this time. Okay, on with the harvest. Next up, we're at my carrot bed. I'm going to have a salad for lunch, so some carrots with that would be nice. So just thinning a few of these out. I think I can get enough for a meal. Sometimes you get some of the babies with it, but they're decent carrots. That's probably enough for lunch. Now some snow peas. I've been picking these every couple of days. You do need to kind of keep them picked regularly to keep the flowers coming and make the plants, you know, super productive. So even though I've got some in the fridge already, I'll just keep taking more. But these will be great added to my salad. And what have we got right next to it? We've got a breakfast radish that's probably gone a bit woody by now. Almost getting too old, but I'll take it inside and slice it up and we'll see what we've got. Just on my way to check out my zucchini patch, and I've come across this big plant which says to me there's possibly a radish down under here. So we'll see what we've got. And that's a fairly decent, it looks like a cross. It doesn't look completely like a daikon, but I reckon that'll shred up okay in my salad as well. I'll give that a wash. Okay, now off to the zucchini. Oh, yeah. There's a few smaller ones in there, but some nice size as well. Well, it looks like we've got a bit more zucchini to preserve. The other day with the harvest I had of zucchini, I tried just slicing them up, mixing it with some balsamic vinegar and then dehydrating. I had one of my viewers insist that I try that, and I'm so pleased she did because they taste delicious. So maybe I'll make some more of that, or if I'm really looking for some beautiful soup, the zucchini curry kind of Thai style soup works really well as well. You can see my cucumber plants are starting to deteriorate now, so they're not going to be productive much longer, but there is still a cucumber or two that's worth harvesting. So we can cut that up for my little salad today. Now hopefully we've still got room to add a few tomatoes. The weather is certainly cooling down a bit given it's late May. And my final tomatoes are just ripening. So we'll grab those. There's some that are kind of ripe enough to eat, but we'll also grab the ones that are a bit underdone, and we can finish those off in the house. Grab these little red tomatoes, but I think I might also grab some of these beautiful red zinnias. Look at that colour. At this time of year, the birds come in and take all the flower heads from the zinnias because they want the seed. So I don't mind taking a few of these flowers to decorate inside, bring that beauty in, and there's still plenty for the birds if they'd like it. From my wild spring onion patch, I'll just grab a few spring onions to take inside, maybe a few more. When they're a bit wild, they do have leaves you need to remove from them. So with my container pretty full, I think that's enough to harvest, with the exception of my salad greens. So there's quite a few leaves to grab. Some plants are looking mature, so I'll probably grab the whole head of that because it's just going to go to flower otherwise. So just a few leaves of those. And I'll need to wash that up. There will be quite a few little insects in there, but they haven't eaten too much. I've got plenty for my salad, so I might just grab the rest of this, including all the little slugs, and throw it up to the chickens. But before doing that, I'll just grab a few more greens. This one's a radicchio. They're the ones with the beautiful purple flowers that come up and spread all these plants around everywhere. Now they've got nice heart leaves, but I generally chop up my salad anyway. But you know, if you wanted just a leafy salad, you can grab those out of the centre. Now I can get a mix of greens here. Some of my purple Mizuna and some of that green. And I've got plenty of these beautiful endive leaves to throw in as well. And I usually grab a leaf of this spicier mustard green too. And one more thing to grab. Now I don't always add kale to my salads, but when the plants are starting to look great, like these ones are, I will sometimes just grab a leaf and strip it off that sort of centre bit and just finely chop it with the rest of my salad greens, and it works well. Okay, harvest is done. I'm going to ship these all inside, get some things into water and others into the fridge. Then I'll meet you down at my plant nursery. In the last video, I spoke about propagating plants and using those to fill up your gardens. Now in this little nursery here, I've got plants that I've propagated or got from other people, and sometimes I forget that they're here to use. I've got hazelnut trees, some ornamentals like kangaroo paw. One I'm really proud of is this beautiful blueberry bush. And here's some stone fruit that the seeds all got mixed up, so I don't know what they are really. But I have added some of those down to the swale already. Now, when they're sitting in pots, you do have to manage them, you know, weed the pots and get out and water them. So it's probably better to give them a bit of a chance out in the real world in their forever homes. The plant that I want to move to its new home today is this rhubarb. It's been in this pot for years and deserves to be moved on. This rhubarb plant here was one that I propagated at the same time as that one in the pot, and this has been in the ground. It's received lots of water being next to the veggie garden, and I've also given it a real boost with just straight cow manure right around it, and it just loves that. Look at that for a lovely long stalk. You only need to harvest one to get, you know, a really good feed from it. And generally I just take off the leaves and I'll mulch it around the plant straight away, and that deals with that. Look in there, look at all that beautiful colour. Now I could harvest a lot more from this plant if I needed to, which I don't, but this plant could also be dug up and separated into a number of different crowns, and I could share that around the property or with friends or family. My original rhubarb plant was one of these two here. I'm not sure. I just planted one that I'd got from a friend and they kind of exploded. I do have a video on me digging this up and separating out the plants into, I think I got about 12 or 14 different crowns to plant around, and you can't tell the difference. You know, they actually do well being separated and they get plenty of room to explode and move around. Now some of these plants are kind of looking a bit yellowish. What I normally do at this time of year is take those old leaves off and I'll just use them to mulch around the base of the plant. I also cut off any flowers because that just drains the energy from the plant and I'm not needing seeds. And I'll just give them a good coverage of manure right around the plants as well, just once a year, and you know, they grow beautifully just with that. The plant that we're going to get into the ground today is headed out to my swales. Now what I've found out there is the plants don't look as good as this. This little rhubarb plant has been here for probably 4.5 years, and it does great and then gets knocked back by cold temperatures or lack of water really. This rhubarb was planted at the same time as the other from my initial separating of that plant from the kitchen garden, and at times the leaves have been huge after I've added the manure around it, but it does get knocked back during dry summer because I don't get out here to water them. 2 more little plants planted again at the same time. You can see the size of what was a flower stalk there, and this one here, you know, they do get big when they get the conditions they like a bit of water, some sunshine, and no rabbits eating down the leaves, which I think happens from time to time out here. But the plants in my swales aren't here so that I can harvest the delicious stalks. They're really here because I like the colours, the lovely green and the beautiful maroons of the stalks really are lovely. But they also just kind of diversify the plantings out in the swale, and it's plants that I can easily propagate. So that's why I've been spreading rhubarb around this area, even though some of them don't really do great. So even though this plant mightn't do as well as it could next to my veggie garden or in my kitchen garden, we're going to sneak it into this swale and just see how it goes. We've got the Tagersasti from the other day. What I'm thinking is a splash of rhubarb colour there would be really nice. I'll just get in and clear the area of what will be the future mulch for this little plant. I'll have to mulch it fairly thickly because there are quite a few grasses in this area, but I'll just use what's on site and see how it goes with that. Oh, I think I've just dug up Jerusalem artichoke roots. If it's not potatoes, it's Jerusalem artichokes. I might plant those. I kind of forget what I plant in different places. Jerusalem artichokes are one of those plants you can kind of spread around everywhere, and it's really emergency food if things get really bleak. But I'll be replanting those. It will grow from that point there, and they produce a really beautiful flower in autumn. They do get inundated with the grasses, and I really didn't get them growing so well this year because of the previous year's dry conditions. Oh, sorry, spider. Spider somewhere else. I'll just get this soil out the way so we can easily fill it back around the plant when we're ready to. Oh, I think that's the top of the Jerusalem artichoke plant. Don't you just love how plants survive? I reckon that plant didn't grow this last season, but it's been saving its resources to get going when the conditions turned. And you can sort of see the little green growing points. So I might just replace that in the ground just like that. Pretty tough digging in there. We've come across a few tree roots. So I think we need to check out what depth we need to go by getting this out of the pot. When moving it from its nursery position, I did snap off some of the roots, but not too much, I think. So we should be able to get it going again well here, I think. Now, to see if we can get it out of the pot. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Wow, hello worm. Wow. It's amazing. It's amazing all the little creatures that live in the pots too. I'll just give a bit of a test run and see if we're good to go. Oh. Well, yeah, I might just dig it a little bit deeper so the roots have got sort of easier passage into this soil. But we're nearly there. Oh, it's heavy. Oh, I'll just kind of loosen it a bit more down there so it's not too hard. Oh, sorry, spider. Always like to move the spiders out of the way. All right, you can see there's lots of loose soil there now. All right, we'll just get some soil around that now and give it a bit of a water. Now I'm just trying to form the soil so that when you water it, the water sort of holds in here and doesn't run immediately down and away. And that will help it get going and help it in summer too with the rains. And I'll just remove some of these bigger leaves. And I'll use that as some of the mulch once I get it watered. With the plant watered, I can move in some of my mulch now. Now, I just kind of use what's on hand. I used to, when I first started with my swales, bring out cardboard and compost and kind of give them a lot of nurturing. But these days, I don't really have time for that. And when I've just thrown them in like this with plenty of mulch over the top, they seem to do just as well as those other ones had. But the soil may have improved over the years. The swales have been in now nearly 7 years, so quite some time. As you saw, there is still grasses growing here, so it hasn't kind of turned into a garden soil just yet. So we've still got to work at suppressing all of that. I'll just pop this little Jerusalem artichoke right nearby so we kind of remember where it is, although I might put a marker stick next to it so we don't kind of miss it coming up. And I might just get some grass to mulch that, which is just nearby. You can just pull up all this stuff. Hopefully I can push this down into the ground here. Hopefully that marker stick will stay in there to mark the spot. So when they start to come up, we know what they are. And I'll get these planted elsewhere. The rhubarb is looking pretty good there at the moment. I will keep watering it until it kind of gets established. And from then on, it's probably on its own because out here I really don't kind of manage that closely. So it's a fingers crossed for it after that. But I think it should get going there and it will look great with my Tagersasti. Now I do need to thank Kim at Olive City Oasis. She has a YouTube channel over in the States and gave me the idea of getting this rhubarb out of its pot and into the ground because she did a bit of a rhubarb planting recently and talked about the issues of growing rhubarb in her area. So thanks again, Kim, for the idea. I'll leave a link to Kim's YouTube channel in the description, so give her a bit of a follow.